Lately, as I scroll through the comment section here, a very clear and recurring vibe emerges. A massive amount of you are genuinely fed up with the current state of AI video creation tools. I completely understand that frustration because the reality is that most of the incredibly cool AI video generation tools advertised right now are either hidden behind expensive paywalls or they severely throttle your usage unless you are willing to hand over serious cash. If you happen to be a creator who is constantly grinding out content, or even just someone casually experimenting, hitting those restrictive limits after trying only 1 or 2 prompts is genuinely soul-crushing to the creative process. Because of this shared pain point, I decided to roll up my sleeves, test a handful of genuinely free options available right now, and show you the actual unfiltered results from each one. The crucial catch that kept this entire comparison fair was the methodology. I used the exact same text prompt and the exact same reference image for every single tool to ensure the comparison remained apples to apples. We are going to run both the standard text-to-video generation and the more specific image-to-video conversion, and by the time we finish, you will know precisely which free tool aligns best with your current workflow, and crucially, where Vizard actually fits in when your goal shifts towards scaling and repurposing long-form content into tons of ready-to-post short clips. Before we dive headfirst into the tool-by-tool breakdown, could you do me a quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe if you anticipate getting any real value from this kind of deep dive analysis? I genuinely made this specific video to help solve the exact frustrations you were telling me about in the community, so a little bit of positive engagement really fuels the energy required for more of these comprehensive deep dives. Finally, please drop a comment below with the word super, and let me know which other new AI tool you would want me to perform an intensive test on next for a future video. Alright, let's kick things off with tool number 1, ChatGLM, and if the landing page initially shows up only in Chinese, please do not panic. Just right-click anywhere on the page and select Translate to English, and the site becomes perfectly usable. To get access to the generation features, you will need to sign up using a valid phone number. Though if you are privacy conscious, there are several well-known temporary number services you can utilize for this step. Once you successfully navigate through the sign-up and are inside the platform, head directly to the designated AI video creation section, paste in the identical prompt you've been using, and initiate the generation process. I noticed that some of the more advanced controls and fine-tuning knobs were gated behind a VIP subscription, but importantly, the free tier still generously allowed me to render output in high definition and even provided a small daily quota of usable AI sound effects. My personal render time for a standard clip took approximately 7 minutes to complete, which wasn't too bad when considering the output quality was surprisingly smooth, featuring clean animation cycles and remarkably no weird, glitchy frames whatsoever. The primary drawback is an obvious one. The final exported video came with a distinct watermark plastered on it, meaning it is only truly usable if you are comfortable with cropping the frame or simply dealing with that visible branding. Flipping over to the image-to-video workflow, I was pleased to find that the tool respected my original prompt instructions very well, specifically honoring the motion cues and camera movements that I had explicitly asked for. If you are looking for a simple and accessible free starting point to just get your feet wet with AI video, ChatGLM is undeniably solid, provided you remain vigilant about watching out for those VIP locks and that persistent watermark. Moving on to tool number 2, Quen AI. This one honestly shocked me during testing because it advertises unlimited video generation with absolutely 0 watermarks and no caps on the number of exports. It truly sounds like a creator's dream scenario. You are required to create an account to use it, but thankfully the easy Google sign-in option works flawlessly, and the dedicated video feature only becomes visible after you have successfully logged into your new account. Functionally, it operates as purely text to video. You simply paste your detailed prompt into the box, click the generate button, and the system takes care of the rest of the complex rendering process automatically. The rendering speeds were remarkably quick during my trials, clocking in at an impressive average time of about 3 minutes for a standard output length. However, the actual visual results were quite a mixed bag, where some generated clips looked incredibly crisp and captured subtle environmental movement very well, while others felt disappointingly static or simply didn't deliver the energetic motion I was trying to convey. For a tool that offers completely free usage, unlimited generation, and 0 watermarks attached to the final product, Quen AI is exceptionally difficult to argue against, even if its consistency in translating prompt energy is somewhat variable. Tool number 3, which we'll call Veer, is unquestionably the easiest tool out there, hands down, specifically when your primary goal is to transform a single static image into a short moving video clip. There is absolutely no requirement to log in or even sign up for an account. You simply navigate to the correct page, select the image to video function, upload your picture, and receive a generated motion edit in under 60 seconds. The interface cleverly auto-suggests a detailed description of the motion, which is fantastic because you always have the ability to manually tweak that suggested text to better guide the AI's movement. The noticeable downside, however, is that the AI sometimes fails to precisely follow every single granular detail of your specific prompt instructions, like in my test where an astronaut was supposed to lift their hand, but the AI mistakenly lowered it instead. Most critically, this tool does not save any of your rendered videos on their servers, which means you must immediately download the output right after generation, or that hard-earned clip will be permanently gone. If your sole requirement is to quickly add some basic, visually appealing life to a single still photograph with the minimal amount of technical fuss, then Veer provides the absolute quickest route available today. Next up is tool number 4, which I'll refer to as Ywen or Uiwin AI, and this one is admittedly a bit of a hidden gem that can be somewhat finicky to actually get working correctly. The website frustratingly defaults to displaying everything in Chinese, and the required phone verification flow can be exceptionally quirky, sometimes demanding that you switch languages back and forth just to select the correct country code for your number. Once you finally wrestle the sometimes stubborn interface into submission and get logged in, you discover that it does support both text-to-video and image-to-video generation modes. The rendering process was noticeably slower than others on this list, often taking 10 minutes or even more, and frustratingly, the free tier outputs were delivered saddled with a mandatory watermark. The resulting quality was decent enough to be considered usable, but felt a bit average when placed next to the best options, and specific intricate instructions like the requested hand motion did not always translate accurately into the final video. Therefore, this tool remains a fine potential option if you are patient enough to deal with the initial setup friction and you don't mind the occasional longer wait time for your generation to complete. Tool number 5 is Google's own video generation model available within their AI Studio, which is not unlimited but easily stands out as the highest fidelity free option available on this entire comparison list. The process is simple. You just sign in securely using your standard existing Google account, navigate to the Generate Media section, select Video, paste in your prompt, and execute the generation command. There is a clearly defined, limited free quota specifically allocated for initial testing and experimentation. But when the model successfully renders, the output is genuinely cinematic, featuring incredibly smooth motion, rich, deep detail, and absolutely no pesky watermarks. You also gain the powerful ability to generate from uploaded images, precisely tweak the output aspect ratio, set the desired duration down to the second, and even incorporate helpful negative prompts to steer the AI away from unwanted visual outcomes. The crucial trade-off here is incredibly obvious. The free quota provided is quite strictly limited, so you must use those precious few generations very wisely to maximize their impact. If your primary goal is to occasionally generate pro-level, top-tier results that look absolutely stunning right out of the box, then Google's video models are currently setting the undisputed front-runner standard in the free testing space. When we stack them up head-to-head for pure text-to-video generation quality, Google's model decisively took the absolute top spot in my rigorous testing because the visuals were cleaner and the final output adhered to the prompt instructions better than any of the other contenders. However, when we shifted the focus to the image-to-video category, the comparison immediately became much tighter and significantly closer between several of the different specialized tools tested. Virz's raw speed and simplicity of use are incredibly difficult to overcome in any test, yet some of the other services focused more heavily on sweeping cinematic camera moves rather than the specific character action I requested. Quen AI provided consistently reliable, watermark-free exports, which is an enormous advantage for social distribution, though it sometimes unfortunately lacked that necessary dynamic energy in the final result. ChatGLM managed a really respectable balance between achievable quality and general accessibility, but it unfortunately slapped a mandatory watermark right onto the finished product, which is a non-starter for many. The Ywen AI tool, while functional, was demonstrably slower in terms of overall rendering time and required significantly more fiddling with the non-English interface to even get the initial setup completed. This leads me to the essential question: where exactly does a dedicated tool like Vizard fit into this rapidly expanding ecosystem of free, single-use AI generation platforms? If your current content needs involve primarily creating a few short, flashy, one-off AI-generated videos from scratch prompts or single images, the 5 tools we just rigorously covered are likely the first ones you would instinctively try out. However, if your actual long-term content strategy revolves around shooting hours of long-form video and then systematically churning out dozens of optimized short clips across every single social platform you manage, none of those generators solve the fundamental scaling problem. The real challenge is not just creating one impressive piece of content, but efficiently transforming that massive long-form footage into a predictable, high-volume stream of optimized, platform-specific short clips that actually get seen. That critical gap in the creator workflow is precisely where a tool like Vizard steps in and shines incredibly bright, justifying its place in your essential toolkit without question. Take a moment to consider the most painful weekly workflow struggle that content creators currently face. You spend an entire day recording a crucial live stream or a detailed software tutorial, and then you must manually find every single good soundbite, edit them into multiple short versions, add custom captions, format for TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts, and then schedule every post. That entire multi-step process is not only incredibly time-consuming, but also highly inefficient for anyone trying to maintain a consistent, multi-platform publishing schedule week after week. Vizard completely automates that exact recurring pain point. It intelligently scans your long video to find the most likely viral moments, auto-edits them into perfectly shareable clips, and then handles the scheduling and posting according to a content calendar that you maintain total control over. Instead of you constantly having to fight with different aspect ratio specifications and precise caption timing for every single platform update, Vizard delivers ready-to-post clips alongside an auto-scheduling engine, allowing you to publish consistently without living inside your timeline editor. When we compare this streamlined pipeline to the free generators we just reviewed, the difference becomes stark. Some are great for a one-off scene, but they offer zero assistance in processing a 60-minute recording into 30 different clips optimized for various audiences. Furthermore, other free options either refuse to save your final results, or impose watermarks that actively sabotage your organic distribution potential across nearly every major social media platform. Vizard's core value proposition is found in the robust, predictable pipeline it establishes. It is not designed for generating one video once, but for transforming your entire library of long-form content into an automated, reliable content machine. The key features work in concert. The auto-editing function finds and trims the exact attention-grabbing moments, The auto-schedule posts them at your chosen frequency, and the central content calendar lets you manage, review, and publish across everything without jumping between apps. And to be perfectly clear, I am absolutely not suggesting that you should eliminate those specialized, high-end AI generators from your creative toolkit altogether. You should certainly utilize Vir when you need that instant image motion. Use Quen AI for unlimited brainstorming runs and lean on Google's model for those occasional, truly premium cinematic looks when you have the quota available. However, for any creator who demands consistent audience growth, repeatable publishing schedules, and a radical reduction in tedious manual editing time, Vizard is the essential solution that bridges that crucial operational gap. It truly complements those generation tools by handling the necessary heavy lifting, instead of trying to directly replace the unique creative output they provide. So, what is the most practical, actionable strategy you should implement right now, based on your specific content creation habits? If you are currently in an experimental phase and you only need fast, free, zero-install results, you should absolutely test Vir for quick image movement, use Quen AI for unlimited text-to-video practice, and rely on Google's VO for premium looks when you can afford the generation cost. But if you are a serious content creator dealing with frequent long videos and you require volume, rock-solid reliability, and built-in cross-platform scheduling, Vizard is the only tool designed to finally connect all those disparate dots for you. It is specifically engineered to solve the operational bottleneck that wastes your time, rather than just trying to replace the initial creative spark that the other tools address. My final, overarching thought on this entire comparison is that these free tools are legitimately impressive considering they cost absolutely nothing to use, but every single one comes with inherent trade-offs, whether that is a watermark, tricky sign-up hurdles, slower render speeds, or very restrictive usage quotas. Vizard stands apart because it directly attacks the part of the process that most creators spend the majority of their actual working hours on, turning one long piece of content into a predictable pipeline of short, platform-ready clips that post automatically. If your number one goal for successfully growing your channel means consistently feeding the ever-hungry algorithm with a steady stream of fresh uploads, then that level of end-to-end automation is an absolute, undeniable game changer for your business. If you're interested in seeing a part 2 where I test the paid premium AI generators and actually compare their long-term return on investment for busy professional creators, please say the phrase part 2 in the comments immediately, and I will prioritize running that comparison. Additionally, let me know in the comments which single one of these 5 free tools you would most like to see a dedicated, much deeper comparison video on next. Or finally, tell me directly if you want a complete step-by-step Vizard walkthrough, showing you exactly how to convert a single 45-minute podcast episode into 20 truly ready-to-post, platform-native short clips. Thank you so much for watching this deep dive into the current free AI landscape, and I sincerely look forward to seeing all of you in the very next video.